Okay, so there's a secret war brewing between two of the Gulf's biggest allies, and it just went hot. What was once this quiet, simmering conflict, fought with money and influence, has just exploded into actual kinetic violence. We're going to break down exactly what went down and why this single strike could totally upend the balance of power in the Middle East.
Picture this. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, a convoy of 8 vehicles, paid for by the United Arab Emirates and manned by their proxy militia, is rolling through a contested patch of southwestern Sudan. Their whole mission is to lock down a spot that's absolutely vital for the UAE's supply lines. And then, out of nowhere, a drone strike hits with unbelievable precision.
And yeah, that quote pretty much says it all, doesn't it? It cuts through all the diplomatic jargon and gets right to the point. Sure, it wasn't the UAE's official military, but this was absolutely an attack on a direct extension of Abu Dhabi's power. One crown prince just kinetically hit the interests of another. It's a huge deal. So let's be super clear about who we're talking about. The Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, they are the UAE's boots on the ground in Sudan. Abu Dhabi has been pouring money and weapons into this group for years. Why? To protect their massive investments in the country, everything from farmland to port access. So a strike on the RSF, that's a strike on the UAE, plain and simple. But here's the thing. This wasn't just some random shot in the dark. To really get why this happened, you have to look beyond the immediate battlefield. You've got to look at the giant economic ambitions of these two Gulf heavyweights, ambitions that are now on a direct collision course. And right here, this is where it all just clicks into place. On one side, you've got Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his epic Vision 2030 plan. It's all about Saudi-controlled ports on the Red Sea and a new Silk Road. But look at the other side. The UAE's president, Mohamed bin Zayed, has been building his own rival projects right in the path of that vision. His own logistics corridor, his own food supplies, all conveniently protected by his RSF proxies. And that's the bottom line. The UAE's strategic foothold in Sudan isn't just a smart investment. It's a physical roadblock to the grand Saudi plan that MBS is trying to build. And that convoy that got hit? Well, it was moving to strengthen a supply route that Saudi Arabia needs to go through its territory, not the UAE's. So, you have to see this strike for what it really was. It wasn't just a military move. It was a carefully crafted political message, delivered with deadly accuracy. Let's really dissect what that message was. I mean, this was no spray-and-pray attack. First off, the targeting was surgical. They took out specific vehicles with key commanders inside. The message? We see you, we know exactly who you are and where you are. Second, the weapons used had a signature that was unmistakably Saudi. The message? Yes, this was us, and we can do it whenever we want. And finally, it was deniable. A quiet, nighttime drone strike. The message? We can hurt you without ever having to admit it publicly. And you can bet that message was received loud and clear in Abu Dhabi. It was designed to be understood not as an act of war, but as a very, very serious warning. So now, the ball is in the UAE's court, and the multi-billion-dollar question is, what's their next move? And this right here is where the UAE finds itself in a really, really tough spot. MBZ is now up against a rival with a much bigger, more integrated power base, and his options for hitting back are, well, they're limited, and they're all pretty dangerous. So let's just ask the question, put yourself in his shoes. You've just been sent a message like this from your much bigger, more powerful neighbor. What can you actually do about it? What you're really looking at here is a fundamental mismatch in power. Saudi Arabia has built this massive, integrated system. Things like the Islamic Military Coalition, the New Silk Road. It's a whole regional architecture. The UAE, on the other hand, operates with a network of valuable but separate assets. Proxy forces here, key investments there. They're definitely influential, but they just don't have that same kind of systemic punch. So what are his options, really? Well, hitting back harder in Sudan would be, as one analyst put it, strategically suicidal. He could try some indirect payback, stir up trouble for the Saudis somewhere else. Or, and this one is really interesting, he could play the Israel card. He could double down on security and tech cooperation with Israel to get his hands on capabilities that Riyadh doesn't have. Of course, a fight like this never just stays between two players. It's already sending shockwaves through the entire region, and everybody's feeling the effects. And you know who's caught in the middle? Yep, Washington. The U.S. has huge military bases in both Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Their entire strategy in the region relies on these two countries getting along. So the usual American calls for de-escalation, they sound pretty hollow when the crisis is this deep. So what about the GCC, the Gulf's own version of a club? Well, it wasn't never built for this. The GCC was created to handle outside threats, mainly Iran. It has no playbook, no mechanism for what to do when its two biggest members are locked in a secret kinetic fight, especially when one of them can just deny everything.
And you can already see the cracks starting to show. Pakistan is desperately trying to play mediator behind the scenes, just trying to keep the whole Saudi-led military coalition from falling apart. Meanwhile, you've got Qatar, who's been on the outs with both of them, suddenly seeing a little window of opportunity to improve its own position.
So let's circle back to what that drone strike was really saying. This quote nails it. It's the offer that MBS made to MBZ. Stop competing with me, accept that I'm number one in this region, and you can keep your interests, but they have to fit inside my framework, not fight against it. It's basically an offer you can't refuse, delivered with a missile. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. One massive choice for the UAE. Path one is accommodation. Just accept the new Saudi-led order. It's probably the safer, more sustainable route, but it's a huge blow to the UAE's pride and its identity as a major independent player. Path two is resistance. Keep fighting for your own independent position. It preserves their image, but like we saw, it risks an escalating proxy war they are not in a good position to win.
Seriously, that's it. One single choice. And the decision that MBZ makes in the next few weeks isn't just about the UAE. It's going to define the entire power dynamic of the Gulf for the next generation.
So, the bomb has fallen. The secret is out, at least for those paying attention. The choice now sits with Abu Dhabi. And the question that's hanging over the entire region is this. Is the response going to be a quiet acceptance of a new reality? Or is this just the first shot of a much bigger, much more dangerous conflict? Right now, nobody knows.